back to that wildlife word. I'm so pumped because the farm next to me has pasture ground, and so I know
You're
like
gonna steal some cow
I'm gonna
pies.
steal some turkeys from.
Quit stealing our turds. Sneaking over at night with your red headlamp with a bucket. The new neighbor guy's been coming over stealing our cow pies.
We got a trespasser. He's not hunting. He just taking our turds. This segment of DoD TV is brought to you by Leupold, American to the core.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Drury Outdoors 100% Wild Podcast, powered by DeerCast. This is episode number 255.
You're Tim Chelsvik.
You are Matt Drury, and we are well on our way to 300 episodes this year.
That's right. We're knocking out a few more podcasts a week than we typically do. You know, usually it's one a week, but to get to our goal of 300 by the end of December, we had to do a few more this year, and we may actually surpass it. So I like the current stretch that we're hitting here.
We got a cadence.
We do.
It's a good cadence.
So we just need people to tell other people about the podcast.
That's right. And the Rack Pack. And make sure you leave us a review. If you leave us a 5-star rating in Apple Podcasts, we may read it on air.
Well, or any podcast for that matter.
For that matter.
So
just rate us, please.
You're being very tech-ist.
I know.
By saying Apple Podcast, Tim.
I know. Sorry. Because there are Android listeners out there.
Losers.
Oh. Matt?
We say this because in DeerCast, as we test all right.
Oh, we're pulling back the curtain.
The DeerCast, when we get into the DeerCast user, the Android user is a bit of a tough one for us.
That's very kind of you to say.
They take up a lot of technical support, customer support time. And as I look at people I know who have an Android, Terry's the only person I know that has an Android, and that tells me all I need to know about Android
users. Demographics are pretty plain, yeah.
So, just a little technologically disadvantaged.
A little more support. Yes.
So, we're going to move on from there.
Yeah, we got someone who needs no support at all. Mr. Aaron Ambur from Nexus Outdoors. He's the president.
Better known as ScentLok, Blocker Outdoors. They got a bunch of other brands. Welcome, Aaron. We appreciate you jumping on with us.
Yeah, good morning, and thanks for asking me to be on your little shindig this morning. This will be exciting.
Yeah, I don't know about exciting, but we're glad you're here. So, you know, we teamed up. We started talking back late last summer. I mean, it was like right before the fall, and we had an opportunity to. We've had conversations before in the past. It'd been a couple years ago, and timing just didn't work out. We were currently with another apparel sponsor and a pretty long-term deal, and but the interest was there. I think we had a lot of things in common as far as the two brands. Of course, Nexus, you know, they had purchased ScentLok at the time. They rebranded it Blocker Outdoors. Of course, we had a long affiliation with ScentLok dating back to 2004, probably well over a decade. We were with ScentLok. So from that perspective, the technology that you guys have, the kind of going back to our roots with scent control and that messaging, there was a lot of synergy there. But from your perspective, tell us kind of why there was interest in our brands teaming up, you know, late last summer when we started talking about actually making it official and doing something going forward.
Yeah, well, I think the key word that I would focus on is authenticity, and you know, I'm pretty simple guy from the farm in South Dakota, and I've had a great professional journey. And when we think about what we do, it's like I want to be behind things that are purposeful. And I don't care if it's the brands that we acquire as Nexus Outdoors grows, or it's the individual products that we bring to market. You know, I always say we want to develop real things for real people. And that really says what it basically says is we're not into gimmicks. And when I think about our relationship and the opportunity we had to join together, the word authenticity, I would say, was the headline in which we want to be associated with authentic people that really represent the outdoors and then represent, you know, what we want to accomplish. So I think without a doubt that box is checked so quickly. because in general, we're not doing these things with sponsorships. But obviously, it was a great situation where you guys are whitetail, and frankly, you're big in the turkey space as well. And I couldn't be more excited to have both our brands associated with the Deer Outdoor team, and it's been a fun journey so far.
Absolutely. As I look at it, with you guys have so many different brands kind of under the Nexus umbrella, and a lot of great quality products, obviously, within those brands. How do you differentiate your consumer and your marketing approach from, say, Blocker Outdoors versus ScentLok? Because we have some of our TV shows that the cast members are wearing the Blocker Outdoors brand, and some of them were wearing the ScentLok brand. What's for you internally? How do you guys differentiate those? Because I'm sure mostly the consumer isn't aware that they're both owned by the same company.
Yeah, that's fair. And I'm going to talk in generalities, but for the most part, when we think about ScentLok Technologies, and it's 27 years of really experience out there, we've really segmented ScentLok to be the ultimate whitetail killing brand. Certainly, it finds its way out west, shooting elk and spot and stock mule deer, and it finds its way in the turkey woods as well. But when you think about our technology stack in the ScentLok, it's really about, our carbon alloy store, and it's about the deer sense of smell. So we really focus the ScentLok brand in the whitetail woods. And as it relates to Blocker Outdoors, we acquired them about 4 years ago. And the cool thing about Blocker Outdoors is we have the tagline, any hunt, any pursuit. And what's great about that is we have more offerings, if you will, in the Blocker Outdoors, whether you're chasing antelope in mid-August in Wyoming, or you're chasing turkeys in March and April and May, or if you're hanging in the whitetail woods in October and November. It's really the diversity of the pursuit on Blocker Outdoors. And I would say top is ScentLok. And then when you think about, good, better, best, you have Scent Blocker and Blocker Outdoors hanging right below that. So, those both work together for a consumer. Price points are different. And then certainly our stories and where we place emphasis and focus is definitely different as well.
You would know it based on the quality. Like I wore the Blocker stuff this past deer season, and it's top notch.
Yeah.
Like you can tell, like the stitching, the panel, like the different panels that they put, like it's all anatomically crafted so it fits well. And it just kind of like, I've always thought good gear should disappear. Like you shouldn't have to think about it when you're out hunting. You should be able to focus on the hunt. And I hunted out of the Silent Tech jacket and pants for most of I know it's more of a mid-season layer, but I threw a couple layers on underneath. I hunted out of that most of this past deer season.
Yeah, it gets you through. That's the one thing I noticed, even like the mid-season stuff on the ScentLok side, it gets you through, a few light layers below, and then all of a sudden you're good and through December. And part of that is just due to the climate that we're hunting here in Missouri, mid-Missouri. It didn't get that cold until real late. So
Minnesota would be a different story.
Sure.
Well, we always thought there was a red tractor, green tractor guy. I mean, think about Blocker Outdoors. It's 45 plus years old. And, I think that, when we looked at the company, there's a ton of customers that were really engaged with Blocker Outdoors. It's been a very complementary brand to what we're doing here, and allows us to really offer our retailers, Bass Pro Cabela's is a great example where they carry both brands, and we're able to service both those customers coming in those doors. So it's been a fun journey for us, and we can bring better, obviously, economies to the consumer on both sides. But we definitely look at brand language every day and design language and make sure they can continue to hold their own DNAs.
So when you hone in on turkey, say for the Blocker Outdoors line, like I got a shipment maybe a month ago with the turkey gear, what comes to mind for you for a turkey hunter that okay, we need to design XYZ to make sure the turkey hunter's taken care of? Like what's your approach there going into the spring?
Yeah, well, I think the first most challenging thing is that how spring turkey hunting goes. I mean, I can be wearing, in March, you can be wearing heavy insulated garments. I mean, you could be wearing stuff that you're hanging in the tree stand in November, or you could be looking at TerraTech, which is one of our styles within the blocker line, which is super ultra lightweight technical running fabric. So the first decision I make when I go turkey hunting is what kind of conditions am I in, right? Mm-hmm. And then most of the accoutrements, I do vests, right? So it could be, for example, like you're saying, the ScentLok piece. That's a great midweight piece. I think it's a great turkey piece. You can layer underneath it. And then when you think about putting the turkey vest on, that's when I think about really the specialization that comes into what you want to take to the ground blind, or if you're running a gun, and what you want to do there. So that's, I guess, Matt, how I think about the assembly as it relates to spring turkey hunting.
So when you look at the patterns, obviously you guys have an affiliation with several camo companies, partners of ours, Mossy Oak. You have a great partnership as well. So that line that I have, it's in Bottomland. Is there, I know this might be kind of pulling back the curtain a little bit, and there's always some politics behind it, but is there ever a time where you guys might have the obsession pattern as well, their spring, quote unquote spring leaf pattern down the road, or is it just going to stick in the Bottomland, which honestly,
super popular. I
mean, it is. Everybody loves Bottomland, so I get why it would be in that, but I'm just curious, for the green foliage that pops in spring, what will there be that option down the road maybe?
It's interesting. We just had a great conversation with the team you're talking about, the Mossy Oak team, the other day, and Bottomland certainly is a great entry into the turkey woods, and I think it has some good nostalgia and trend going right now, so that's worked well for, I would tell you, first base, Matt, and I think second base definitely. We all know there's definitely a green version that us as turkey hunters, when stuff starts to pop, it starts to get warm. You know how you get that almost illuminated green that comes out. And
yeah.
And definitely the obsession pattern be a great addition. And I wouldn't be surprised if, not too long down the road, we'll have the obsession.
Breaking news.
Just keep an open mind about this. Maybe it's called the Matt Drury Signature Series.
For people that want to not kill a turkey.
You'll look really good for all your pictures, looking stoic out in the woods, holding your weapon.
That's right.
No blood anywhere.
No animals are harmed.
Right. PETA endorsed. Hey, that's another thing. Maybe get a PETA endorsed line.
Now you're getting off the tracks, Tim.
I'm known for that.
Yeah, they have it. It's just a regular color.
Right. It's blaze. Aaron, I'm curious, as we work with the different team members there at Nexus, these guys are all hunters. Like, you guys use this stuff. I'm curious if there are any kind of fun stories of, I had this experience in the field, and so I came back to our design folks and said, we need to institute this. Like, how are your hunting experiences influencing the products?
Yeah, that's a great question. I mean, I will look at it. We're a very small company. I would say much the size of, Drury Outdoors. I think that folks look at you and they look at us and we think we're in this corporate palace and we got hundreds of people. Well, the reality is we don't. And the reality is that I would tell you, our magic potion, our secret sauce, is that we're all enthusiasts, whether we're chasing turkeys, whether we're out predator calling, whether we're, I would tell you, whitetail hunt, animal. I mean, all those disciplines we're out doing. And there's multiple examples where, what I do, and part of my havoc in spring, I'll digress and I'll get back on path, is I have to go through my camo every spring. And my dad and mom still live back in South Dakota. So it's kind of the annual shipment. I ship all my stuff back to my parents, and my dad gives it away to people back in my small town of Presho, South Dakota. Well, the reason I say that is I do my best, and in every fall situation or spring, I'm always wearing new product. And it's usually a prototype product. Mm-hmm. And what I'm trying to do, and we have others in the staff as well, and we have some limited, field staff, we're out there testing the gear. And it could be small things. I'll give you an example. Do you all use the ScentLok heated vest at all last year?
Oh, yeah. He probably didn't. I don't know that you had it, but I had it. And if we used it, Scott and I used ours a lot.
Yeah, so one simple example, we used to have the button about right up here. And it made a lot of sense. It felt like it was the right design. And after hunting in the fall, it's like you're looking down like this, trying to see what the heck the color is. And we're like, let's just move that down on the lapel so you don't have to have your eyes roll backwards when you're trying to look at if it's on or off or what color. So that's a simple example, but I will tell you, we use all that input either from our brand ambassadors or partners like you, or for some of us on really preemptive new product that we're working on for 18 months. We're out there testing it. And at the end of the day, real product for real people that works. That's what it's about, is we want to make your experience better. And to your earlier point, you don't even want to think about what you got on. You want to focus all your efforts on the tom or that trophy whitetail or the stock, whatever. You don't want to be worrying about being comfortable, being concealed, and having everything you need to be successful.
So do you, I think back in the day when like carbon technology was coming out, and I think early 2000s, there was always that debate. You'd read it in the magazines. What does it work? Does it not? They do the dog tests and all that. I mean, is that even really a debate at this point? I mean, I know like the degree that it helps you, we always say like every little thing helps. So whether we, do ozone on our clothes with Scent Crusher ahead of time, or whether we use your sprays or we use HS sprays or we use whatever it is, we always try to minimize the scent element that we bring, the footprint, so to speak, that we bring into the woods with us. So I guess my question is, when you get to that, do you still see much pessimism towards the carbon technology and what that can bring for a hunter?
Matt, I think it's a journey. You and I have talked before, and I really look at the odor control and odor management part. Let's just talk about whitetail. It's about elimination of variables or minimizing your scent signature footprint as much as you can. And I would tell you that, I've never subscribed to this cloak thing, which is you put on the ScentLok suit and it's like this invisible cloak that makes you, everything. And, I would tell you just about making sure all those little things that you need to do to minimize your scent signature are executed. And I think many folks, because of that cloak mentality, people have had bad experiences. I've always say, number one, hunt the wind.
Yeah.
One of these guys that says, don't worry about the wind, just go hunt. I don't know whose tag that was. I sure as hell hope it wasn't ours, but
I do. Do you really? I know exactly what.
Oh, I do know.
Okay, and then I will just breeze past it. But forget the wind, just hunt was.
I don't remember that.
Okay, so Scent Blocker, back before these guys, owned them. Scent Blocker, when we were with them, that was their tagline.
Oh.
And Scott Schultz was the president at that time, and he was a magnificent mind, great marketer. But I really, I know Mark and Terry felt like that was a mistake, because you don't, to Aaron's point, you don't forget the wind and just hunt. You play the wind, and then if the wind swirls or if it switches, hopefully all these things that you've done to make sure you've controlled your scent as best as possible go into your favor. Wouldn't that kind of be the way you'd approach it?
Absolutely. We used to subscribe to the 7 steps. You got to prepare your gear, right? Whether it's hard goods or soft goods, whether you're washing, drying them, or using scent sprays. And then it's all about taking care of your body, dressing appropriately. I even do little things like walk in the tree stand. I make sure I'm cold when I get out of the truck. I try to create no perspiration when I go in there and heat. And it's all those little things that add up. And at the end of the day, sometimes, and you guys know this, you've seen it, you've experienced it, you can tell me a lot of stories. Sometimes it's about 1 or 2 more steps. And that's the difference between you killing something or not killing something. And, sometimes it's 1 or 2 more steps, and there's other times where you can have deer come straight downwind and they walk through it and they like, not sure what's going on here, but you minimize your scent signature degree where you don't bugger them. So, and then as I tell dog stories, you have dogs that you've raised that have great noses. You have other dogs that don't have as good as noses. So I think that applies to deer. So again, I guess in a nutshell, you've got to do those things you can to control what you can control. And the rest is up to fate and God and the animal, and there's variability. But I think there's some skepticism in general, because not everyone punches all those holes that you.
One of the factors that seems to be unaddressed so far in the marketplace, one of the factors in scent control, is the spouse factor.
Fabric softener.
So, yeah, like sometimes like my wife will grab maybe an a base layer or something, and it'll get thrown in with the rest of the stuff. I need a separate, like a ScentLok or a Blocker Outdoors laundry bin or something. Yeah. Like everything that's there, just don't touch it.
Yeah.
I'll take care of that.
Good luck. Well, my wife would never touch my hunting stuff anyways. I mean, that's kind of, isn't that kind of an unwritten rule? Like,
yeah. The problem is like when I come in and I'm just tired and I just want to get out of all my stuff, sometimes there's a trail of clothes that I leave behind.
Well, so, guys that have their farm where they live, where they hunt, or they have a place where they can change or whatever, I think it's easy. You get change, you go out the door. But like guys like us, I change in the field, and no matter what the temperature, we're changing there at the truck, and heading out while we get undressed at the truck too.
Sure.
So like typically, honestly, never sees that stuff because I only bring it in when I'm going to go wash it. Otherwise it never stays in the house. Yeah. So maybe it's you, Tim. Maybe you need to adjust your...
At the end of the season, like if I know I'm going to wash my clothes or something and I'm just tired and cold, I'll like, screw it. I'm going to drive home with my stuff on. Yeah. It's a little reward at the end of the night. I'm not going to have to get undressed
for not seeing shit.
For being just tired and cold and done with it.
I sat here this whole time, didn't see anything. I'm going to reward myself.
Treat yourself. So the laundry bin's just a free idea. As long as you call it the Chelsvik Signature Series.
Yeah, it rolls off the tongue.
Yeah, it really does. Oh, did you sneeze? No, it's a product.
You guys will think I'm crazy, but back in the dryer, just your example, definitely the softener sheet's not in there, but I take lint out every time.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Remain lint in the lint filter. And I know it's a one-way wind direction going out there, but it's just little things like that I even think about before I my hunting clothes for the year. I make sure that the doggone lint thing's out and there's no opportunity for any bad scents to be in there or foo-foo scents.
That's not crazy.
I know some guys I don't personally know them. I've like going on the chat sites back in the day. Some guys will actually run cycles of nothing.
I've thought about it.
Of scent-free detergent to make sure they get rid of that UV or whatever it is the
brightener.
Yeah, that goes along with regular detergent.
Yeah.
I mean, that's next level stuff. I don't have that kind of patience or time.
Buying a new washer dryer every time you wash your clothes.
That's really next
level. I got
level.
That money, so I could if I wanted to.
Yeah.
I just chose not to. Which is kind of like, that's one of the things I love about turkey hunting. You can put all the scent management stuff off to the side for a little bit, because I almost feel like I have PTSD from whitetail hunting, just always thinking about, even when I'm out with the kids, like walking someplace, I'm thinking like, where's my wind going? That's a problem.
Best part about all that is that turkey season, say you don't hear something off the roost there, you go get breakfast in your turkey clothes and then go back out and hunt. That's the best part of turkey season.
You're cheating, man. It's so nice.
Yeah, that's a power move when you walk into a little diner in your turkey clothes and your boots. Like, yeah, that's right. I'm a hunter. That's a power move.
I'm an unsuccessful hunter so far.
Well, they don't know. You may have killed one.
Aaron, what do you think about that? Like, because I've had situations in the turkey woods where deer have blown and kind of buggered up a situation with turkey. What is your ideas on scent management during turkey season, if at all?
Yeah, I really don't have a point of view. I just know that, I go back to just common sense. The more undisturbed the woods can be when you're even hunting turkey, so they're not sensing and seeing things that are unnormal, I think you're better off. In some, like one of my places out in Nebraska I hunt, we have quite a few coyotes too, and those deer can get, when they see coyotes, obviously they get boogered and they can snort. And those turkeys aren't dumb enough to know that, the deer are pretty good pre-emphasis too of maybe some bad things are around. So I think to the degree, now I'm with you. I sort of like put down the shields, if you will, the force shields when I go into the turkey woods, just kind of, relax a little bit. But I think to the degree you can, great. But, certainly it just depends where you're hunting.
Sure. What do you think about turkeys and UV light on clothing and brighteners in standard washing, laundry detergent, and how much of a factor do you think that plays in turkeys picking you up?
I tell you, I've never done testing on that, so I wouldn't. The turkeys, I hunt a lot of Merriams. I don't hunt the tough Eastern turkey yet. I've just never seen that situation where we've had that issue. But again, all I know with turkeys, and you guys know, is you killed hundreds of them. It's just all about, I think movement's your biggest thing. And here's an example for you is, on our turkey clothing in the blocker line, we have the yellow shield on most all our stuff. The only place where we mute the shield is on our turkey vest, as well as our gloves. So, we've seen plenty of customers that says, "Oh my gosh, you got yellow on there, and this turkey's you're an idiot." Well, most of the turkeys I've shot, that they're dead before they get close enough to pick me out, as long as I'm not moving. So, I think everyone's through their personal experiences, maybe have different truths. I've just never known, color to be a big issue with turkey. Now, pheasants, I've been deer hunting, and, we got the ringneck pheasant back in some parts where I hunt. They will pick out color in a heartbeat. I don't care if you have a fletch color. They pick out color like no one's business. But I don't know what your guys' experience has been with color and turkeys. Maybe you could share that with me.
Well, I think, in the last 5 to 10 years, we're hunting more and more out of ground blinds and stuff. Not all of us, but I mean, when I go up to Dad's, we're hunting out of a blind. Mm-hmm. And the only time we then end up going, if he's got one roosted that's not near a site, say in the timber somewhere, and or there's just nowhere to put a blind up, we'll go in, sit with the vest or whatever. Or say we didn't have luck in the morning in a blind off the roost, and we end up going, running and gunning. Mm-hmm. That's when, I think it becomes a little bit more of a factor. But for the most part, a lot of people are using pop-up blinds now. And I think that certainly camouflage plays a huge role, obviously, but those little types of logos and stuff, like last year, I had just gotten the new DeerCast hat, the Bottomland one, and it has the orange, orangish red DeerCast logo on it right up front. Well, hell, we doubled, at like 10 steps. It didn't matter. We were in a blind,
yeah.
What I mean? And so I think it probably depends a little bit on how you're hunting them, because I've also been out where, so Dad and I will go hunting and we're going in a spot in the timber right in the morning, to try to get under him on the roost. And he's got a piece of moss yoke, like a netting that he'll put over like the camera guy, and so like, I think it probably depends on your setup and how close you are on the turkeys, or how many turkeys, maybe if you're under a flock, and you got to beat a bunch of eyes, like it all, like you said, I think movement's the biggest thing, but a lot of it depends on your setup probably.
And it's weird how different turkeys are in different, like not even like Easterns versus Merriams or whatever, but just like Easterns in different parts of their range. When I hunt them down in the Ozarks at Devil's Backbone Outfitters, they're spooky. They'll come up on a ridge. You'll see a little periscope of a head. They'll look for the hen. If they don't see it, they're gone.
Yeah.
But here, in kind of the St. Louis region, they'll walk right up to a blind and not think twice about it.
Thank goodness.
For me.
So that's all of our turkey knowledge. Show's over.
We're done. A mile wide, an inch deep.
Here's one thing I've never done, and I don't know if you guys have done. I'm a pretty stubborn bow hunter, so Matt, I'm more acclimated to what you said earlier. I hunt a lot of ground blinds. I've never shot a turkey with a bow and arrow, not in a ground blind. Never done it.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I would think it's hard.
I did it. My first turkey ever. That's how I killed it.
That was by mistake, though.
It was a Jake. See? I meant to kill it. I was just really surprised that it happened that way. But all the subsequent ones aside from that, I've never been able to get she's just coming to full draw is next to impossible. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yep. I speak as someone who's boogered a lot of turkeys.
I don't know. You guys can have your archery turkey hunting and go have yourself a little ball with it.
DeerCast writer Jeremy Kerber hates the fact that I hunt. Like it
does annoy me too.
It offends his soul.
It's annoying
that I do that.
And I'm sure I'm offending several people out there, but I don't know what I get no joy out of watching someone like kill a turkey on camera with a bow and arrow. Like it's
Start
so
to hate that person.
It's anticlimactic. Like I want to see the shot. Like once you've shot like those Longbeard XRs from Winchester, like it's just that pattern. Like you see that coming, you could literally watch it on the camera.
Yeah.
It's just a lot more fun to watch. To be honest with you,
I would not disagree with that.
Hell of a lot more fun to do. Have you ever killed one with a shotgun?
Oh yeah. Maybe 2 or 3.
Is it that you hunt areas that are mostly archery, like the parcels?
That's how it started. But I like the challenge. I know.
Well, when you're a crappy hunter, it's a challenge to kill one with a gun too. So.
I've got a double challenge against me. It's a double whammy. And even in the rack pack, yesterday in the rack pack on Facebook, I asked, "What's your weapon of choice for killing turkeys?" And 95 to 98% were shotgun.
Well, yeah.
It's just
they're normal.
And so I fully recognize
you and Aaron are the 2%.
Laden force.
I knew you were 1%ers.
Yeah, right. We're elitists. So Aaron, why do you do it?
Why do I turkey hunt?
With a bow.
With a bow.
Oh, with a bow. I love it because of the challenge, and I
hate Aaron.
Moments in my life where I like to punch him in the pie hole with a. I love that. Just you need some redemption at some points, but I love sitting in the ground blind. I love bringing them to me, and I love I like sticking things with a bow. I ain't gonna lie.
You're killing me, Smalls.
Yeah. Well, in some states, I think Nebraska has an archery-only turkey season, which is kind of neat. I'm going to get more hate now. I wish Missouri had something like that.
Go to hell.
Well, the other thing that got me going on it is to your point in Nebraska. I lived out there for 16 years, and I think it's March 1st it opens up with archery, and the first 30 days it runs archery. And when my son was 5 and 6 years old, I kind of got him into the gun thing a little bit too early, so we ended up getting a crossbow out in the ground blind with a nice tripod. And I will tell you what, from a kid's experience, that ground blind with we can use crossbows out in Nebraska. It was a great experience. You got a lot of, I would call it target acquisition, just with a crossbow, with a scope,
sure,
and he's comfortable pulling the trigger. And I think when growing up with him, it just really got him wise on the woods before we got into deer situations, which you guys know happens a lot quicker in that whole scheme with whether it's a crossbow, a bow, or even a gun. It's just a lot of variables. So I would say that was a great learning ground for him.
Yeah, and I think we can all agree it makes you more of a man to bow hunt turkeys. So Aaron and Layden Forrest and I are going to have a bow hunting media turkey camp.
Have at it.
And you're not invited.
Go enjoy yourselves.
Matt.
I'll be with the rest of America killing them with a gun.
Yeah, good luck with that. Spreading
So
your lead shot.
When's turkey tour start? Tell me about it.
Mark, he's actually starting this weekend, which this will air
Friday.
Oh, it does. This airs this week. Okay, so yeah, he's going this weekend to Texas, him and Taylor. So he starts the tour, and he likes to say he's not really doing the tour anymore because he doesn't hunt that many states, but he'll hunt. I know for sure he's going to Texas a couple times, and then Missouri, Iowa. So I don't know if he's got any plans for any other states this year. But once Mark gets rolling, when his boot hits the ground, the damn grass dies. He's deaf walking.
If God's a turkey, Mark is screwed when he dies.
Yeah, Mark has killed a lot of turkeys. He's guided a lot of people killing turkeys. He's called in a lot of turkeys to their death. I don't care what anybody says. I know like some of the meme pages give people that use decoys and ground blinds, they call them, you're not a hunter, because decoys are just right now, they're so lifelike, like the AVNXs, they're so lifelike, it really draws them in. But Mark, I don't care. I've seen him call turkeys in before any of that shit was popular, and that dude is just unbelievable.
Death.
Yeah. I've said it on the podcast before, like back in the day when we all hunted at Terry's Missouri camp, we used to have a pretty big turkey camp, and I'd always go up for opening day, and we would used to draw like who we would go with.
Yeah.
And everybody wanted to go with Mark.
No doubt.
You'd be done opening morning,
Yep.
like by 7 a.m. So, yeah. Turkey Tour's getting ready to start, though, to answer your question. He's going to Texas, and then look out.
What's exciting, we just put away our archery stuff, or in some cases, our shotguns, and it's kind of nice, right around the corner in March and April, you get stuff back out and get ready for the season. So it's been typically a fill-in activity for me, because I go right from turkey hunting into throwing jigs for walleyes and then food plots and then antelope. So it's exciting. All the seasons are exciting, especially in the great outdoors in which we get to experience.
You know it.
Aaron, do you save the cheeks on your bigger walleyes?
Yeah, I do.
Too many people toss them. It's crazy. They're like
scallops. I just got used to flaying them and then take a flay knife and just do a quick little C cut on the cheeks, and I usually fry them up, in a pan with a little butter and a little cayenne pepper, and they're fun. Next time if you guys ever come up here, I'll treat you to some Lake Erie walleye cheeks.
That sounds
sweet.
All right, let's move on.
Let's do our shout outs.
All right.
We've got a rack pack on Facebook. If you want to be a part of the inner circle of the podcast, go to Facebook, type in 100% Wild Rack Pack, and answer the membership questions, and you may be granted permission to access.
If you want to be cool, that's where the cool people are.
Yeah. Yeah, sometimes
There's not a lot of them.
we post exclusive content and video from behind the scenes in the rack pack.
That's right. You can only get it there. That's what exclusive means, Tim.
Oh.
All right. So each week I name a few people that joined. Each week Tim throws in a fake name that I usually butcher along the way. Mm-hmm. So let's see who it is this week. Kevin Marson, Patrick Romine, Ryan Weisenbach, Craig Cantor, Chris Elmore, Eric Moore, Robert McFarter.
I think it's terrible that you guys are laughing at someone's heritage. The person's last name is part of their lineage. You jackasses are laughing at Mr. McFarter.
All right, moving on. Aaron, I'm sorry that you joined us on the podcast today, but this is as highbrow as we get. Pretty low.
We were talking to someone here recently, and they were extolling the wholesomeness factor of Drury Outdoors, and Matt and I were silently both thinking, I don't think you've seen the podcast.
He kept saying it. He kept bringing it up. So finally, I had to say to him, "Listen, we have a podcast, and just in case you ever listen to it, it's not quite the same as the rest of the content we produce.
It's not Mark-and-Terry quality."
And Tim's like, he real quickly said, "It's PG-13.
Yes. It's like safest way to go
good
about
thing
it.
I didn't use the wholesome then when I said, man, the Drury deal's been so great. We're excited. They're authentic.
It's out the window.
It's authentic.
What would have happened?
Listen, this podcast is the most authentic thing we have.
Very true.
So
Unscripted.
Maybe not wholesome, but authentic.
Right.
That's right.
Or good. And then over on Apple Podcasts, Captain Chris C. Squared.
Chris C. Squared.
It's an awesome name. He gave us 5 stars. He says, great fun. This podcast has it all. Great guests and information. Plus, they don't take themselves too seriously. Love the joking around and back and forth between Tim and Matt. Makes me feel like I'm sitting around with my friends. Great work, guys. Keep it up.
Yeah, that's right.
Captain Chris.
Chris C. Squared. That was a good one. Thanks, buddy.
I hope that's not stolen valor.
All right.
Captain Chris.
He might be a captain of like a boat, like captain of
like his Ranger Bass boat or something.
He could be a captain of industry. You don't know.
Right. Of underpants. Who knows? Or he could be like, oh, who was Dr. We had a doctor in the rack pack who was a real doctor. He was a doctor of chiropractic. He was a real doctor. Okay, so speaking of learned, it's time for a little bit of education. A little bit of knowledge that we call the wildlife word. Happens every week. The
Whether
wildlife
you like
word.
it or not.
Right, and most people don't. Okay, so this is a multiple choice question that I'll give you here in a second, Aaron. The wildlife word is brought to you by Tracker Off-Road for turkeys, land management, deer, and everything in between. Drury Outdoors depends on Tracker Off-Road to get the job done.
Used mine yesterday. We loaded it up with a bunch of trash from inside the new farmhouse. One of these episodes, we're going to get into the farmhouse. And
Can't
the,
wait.
the
We should do this
renovation.
show from the farmhouse.
We could. I need internet first.
You could bake cookies in your wheelie oven.
Let's not go there, Tim. But I used the tracker because then we went and we put out some analogics. Last round, get it. I had a few bags left. We'll get it out there and then quit putting it out for turkey season. Obviously, the deer all eat it up and let the property rest. And then we're going to go smack some turkeys in the mouth with a shotgun like a normal man.
Huh.
Continue.
Small man. You got the job done, though, right?
That's what she said.
Okay, speaking of highbrow, why do turkeys love cow pies so much? Is it A, they dust themselves with a dried scat to remove parasites? B, getting into the cow pie serves as a cover scent? C, cow pies contain larvae, insects, and grubs that they can eat? Or D, they just enjoy the earthy taste?
What do you say there, Aaron? What's your answer?
I'm probably going to go with something to eat.
That's right. C.
Cow pies contain larvae, insects, grubs, also bits of grain that they like to ingest.
You know,
It's a smorgasbord in there.
it's a real ponderosa of sorts.
Yeah.
It's a
Do you ever-
buffet.
We had in the town I grew up in, Morris, Illinois. They had a bonanza.
Oh yeah.
You remember bonanza?
Hell yeah. Sunday brunch after
Heck
church.
yes.
Get out of my way. I'm going right to the ice cream.
And then bonanza went away, and then Ponderosa. kind of took over.
That's right.
Which Bonanza was a killer show. If anyone has never watched Bonanza,
My dad, dude, he still
Lauren
watches
Green,
it. Oh,
Michael Landon.
He still watches it like religiously. That you want to know how old Dad is? He's a fan of Bonanza.
maybe that's who your dad has patterned his whole life after.
Yeah.
Lauren Green and Bonanza.
Is that Hoss?
No, that's the dad.
That's the dad.
Yeah.
He could be pretty mean. Maybe that is who Dad patterned his life after.
He patterned himself after an evil dad.
Yeah.
No, the dad on Bonanza is awesome.
I don't
guy.
remember. It's been so long since I watched it. I remember Michael Landon, and I remember
Yeah.
he went on to
Highway
do
to Heaven.
Highway to Heaven,
Yep.
which was obviously Little House on the Prairie.
Yeah. I mean, he's a dreamboat.
Highway to Heaven. That was like as we were growing up, like that KPLR, Channel 11,
Appointment
St. Louis,
television.
that really was. Yeah.
So we're
And-
old.
The football guy on there too. The
Oh, yeah. The
Come
mortal
on.
guy.
yeah.
Had the gray, scraggly
You're
beard.
better than that, aren't you?
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, if you start talking about Murder, She Wrote, like, we can go deep on that. But all right, Aaron's going to do some research for us.
Yeah, I'll do it.
Co-star of Highway to Heaven.
The co-star, that guy, he was also in Little House on the Prairie.
He was, yeah. He was
Yeah.
a villager.
Yeah. Not the village idiot, it's just the villager.
Nellie was the village idiot.
You know a lot about.
Well, thank gosh I'm not your research guy because Google failed me.
Your internet failed you.
Yeah. Do you even have internet?
Yeah.
Nexus Outdoors is completely offline.
Well, it was a tough morning.
They truly are a small family-owned
Send
company.
a self-addressed stamped envelope and we'll send you a
Internet
catalog.
May or may not work. Listen, we have the same problem, but it's because Joe, our guy here, takes our internet for every server in the country.
I reversed the polarity of the internet so we'd have faster uploads. Well, now we got nothing, Joe. So how's that helping us?
Yeah. We better shut her down.
Yeah.
Aaron,
Well,
before...
thanks for a normal multiple choice. That's good.
Yeah, I mean, you're lucky because usually Tim puts in some really tough question or tough answers in there, and he makes it a little harder.
I
So.
will say we can't rule out D. They just enjoy the earthy taste.
That's
we don't
right.
know that for sure if they do or don't.
I think we know it. You know, back to that wildlife word. I'm so pumped because the farm next to me has pasture ground, and so I know
You're gonna
like
go steal some cow
I'm gonna
pies.
steal some turkeys from.
Quit
them.
stealing our turds. Sneaking over at night with your red headlamp with a bucket. The new neighbor guy's been coming over stealing our cow pies.
We got a trespasser. He's not hunting. He's just taking
takes
our
our poop.
turds. All right, Aaron, we're sorry. I held out as long as I could
I'm not sorry.
on Turd Talk, but we finally got it. This is what the podcast. If you want to sponsor the podcast, by the way, We could talk afterwards.
Scent control.
Yeah. Anyhow, we better shut her down before we lose the whole partnership altogether.
Yep. Aaron Ambur from Nexus Outdoors, thank you for joining us. We're
Much
sorry.
like a TED Talk.
Yeah, pretty much the
We had
same
a
level.
TED Talk. Aaron, any parting shots before you leave?
Yeah, I do have a parting shot, which is just, thanks for the opportunity. I mean, we're excited. I mean, back to where we started the conversation today, and thanks for the humor and reality today on our conversation. And I look forward to great things from Deer Outdoors and our relationship. And it's those things that you just know it's right when it's right. And it was from the get-go. So we're excited. Hopefully we can do more of these together, and just look forward to seeing all your kills this spring and next fall, and continue conversation. So thanks very much for having me on today.
We appreciate you. Parting shot from us. We killed over 160 big game animals in ScentLok or Blocker Outdoors last fall. So we had our best season to date with the company. So hell of a year, and we appreciate it. We look forward to a lot more blood trails in our future.
All right, guys. Thank you very much.
Thanks,
All right,
buddy.
see you, Aaron.
Till next time. Peace out.
Adios.
Temperatures are going to be dropping. Perfect conditions for the skinny field. Got to focus on those afternoon hunts. Northwest Tree Stand, 5 p.m.
It's the easiest decision you'll make this season. Get ahead of your game with DeerCast.
Well,
All right.
Aaron, you got the full ditty there. You went
Full ditty.
You went from serious podcast to poop talk at the end. That's basically what we do here. We're adding new videos every week, so make sure to click that subscribe button and check out all of our amazing content. This episode of DoD TV was brought to you by Bass Pro Shops and Cabela's.